I know you just saw us about 30 seconds ago, but we have some programs to fill in because it was a busy weekend and I guess we didn't feel like it. We are going to recap last week's third eye chakra, Seeing Beyond the Clouds, and also yesterday's crown chakra episode about surrendering to the sky. And I'm going to be here to help Tara through because you're going to hear in a couple seconds that her voice is on a brief partial hiatus. So we'll knock this out in no time. For those of you who look forward to our third eye chakra day, you know that the mantra is I see. And last week's theme, I'm going to scroll up here, was all about love in the storm. And our programs did an amazing thing where they gave us a storm focus for every day. And last Friday's, just 2 days ago, our storm focus was all about confusion, the storm of catastrophizing, and also the storm of having a lack of perspective. And if you've ever lived here on the planet, and all of us have lived here on the planet, you'll know that there can be tons of confusion, tons of catastrophizing, and a bit of a lack of perspective from time to time, depending on how grounded you are. So put your palms over your brow and do slow alternate nostril breathing. I cannot.
Just breathe, people. Just breathe.
There's a technique for this. We're just really over to teach you today. There is a pranayama building exercise that we can drop on the website, where if you do come in through one nostril, back into that same nostril, got a lot of shit in there, and out through the other one, in back through that same nostril, plug it up, out through the other one. I mean, this is like ancient alternate nostril breathing. It's been around for like thousands of years, and it does work even when we're being silly. I've never heard it called slow alternate nostril breathing, so it kind of
interesting word choice.
Yeah. Alternate. Not nose piercing.
I'm going to read the teaching while he's looking that up. It says to offer the 1 year question, which is, will this matter in 12 months? To cut cognitive fog. Cognitive.
Yeah, we can all sometimes get really, really caught up in the winter snowstorm in our heads. And the question of, will this matter in 12 months? Will this moment matter? Will the people I'm with matter? Of course, there'll be people who will carry through with you. We talk a lot in the community about reason, season, lifetime people. Some people are in your life for a reason. Some people are in your life for a season. Some people are in your life for a lifetime. If you feel that people are in your life for a reason, then serve that need, but don't over-index them if they're not going to be around in 12 months. Sometimes we're called to help people in the moment and then catch them and release them. And so if you are out there struggling with anxiety right now because you're like, oh my God, like, what if I'm in this situation for another year? Well, what if you're not? And what if your feelings right now are important, but they won't matter in the long game? An affirmation to help you work through this is, I perceive the bigger picture. Wisdom guides me. I perceive the bigger picture. Wisdom guides me. You want to close with the action for today on that one?
I would love to. Journal one possible hidden gift or lesson embedded in the current storm. I think sometimes it's easier to do that when you're a little bit further out, like the lesson anyway. But certainly the hidden gift, the silver lining that we talk about inside of those things.
Can you find it? Can you look for the roses in your life? There are thorns in your life on your rose stem that will go out. There are issues that you will encounter. There are challenges that you will encounter every day of your life. Are you able to see your roses? Are you able to see the gift that's happening? Are you able to stand? Tara loves the classic movie Twister. Are you able to be in the eye of the storm and still find something to be grateful for? Powerful, powerful shit. Let's move forward to the crown chakra. The theme is all about surrendering to the sky. And the storm focus is all about spiritual disconnection and having a meaning crisis. Some people don't believe in the spirit. Some people just believe that we are here working through life as loved and lovable humans, and we are just helping each other and leading each other home in the dash between our start date and our end date. If you're not a person who believes in the spirit, then you'll know all the same, though, what it feels like to be disconnected in your energy, disconnected in your emotions, and disconnected in this space that we call collectively the heart. I remember the day that I realized that, like, my heart is not here. My heart is not where we pledge allegiance to the flag. Our hearts are actually centered in our chest, a little more centered, the size of our fist. And sometimes you can feel disconnected from that second brain called the heart. Sometimes we cannot find meaning in our lives, no matter where we seek to find it. Why these dishes? Why this kid? Why this partner? Why are the groceries so expensive? Like, what is the meaning of it all? And it can create a crisis in your mind. Here's something that you can do. And every day, Tara and I in this network and all of our healing practitioners and service members, we seek to give you tools to put in your toolkit so that you can be connected. So here's what we want you to do today. Sit tall and visualize a beam of light from your crown going upward. Breathe in starlight, because we're all stardust, right? Breathe in the starlight. Breathe out gratitude. Breathe in the starlight. Breathe out the gratitude. I can't remember the term because I was in a clubhouse room a bit crossfaded a couple nights ago, but there are particles of energy that the sun blasts towards us that is hitting us all the time. Let me go into my Google history.
Not
And
the ozone. That's what protects us. I said not the ozone. That's what protects us, I think.
it's the ozone is supposed to be giving us a layer of protection. Oh my god, my history here. Oh god.
Electromagnetic radiation, ultraviolet radiation, infrared
Um,
radiation,
my
solar wind,
not
extreme
solar wind. I'll come back and let y'all know, but there are certain kinds of and I was like, this is just fascinating, and I'm surprised that I didn't put it into a chat space somewhere. But once again, that's at 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts. But yeah, there are these energies. Let me see if I could say solar energy that I can't really find it right now, but I looked it up, and this guy, I was like, oh, he's absolutely right. Like, we are constantly being showered with this energy that we cannot see, that may or may not be affecting us. And there's not a lot of research out there on how these I'm gonna look it up while you go forward, but there's not a lot of research out there on how these solar particles are actually affecting us. Take it away.
Right, so the teaching today, this was Crown Chakra Day, is the paradox of resilience. Greatest strength is humble surrender. Greatest strength that we have is humble render. Um, Interesting. The resilience paradox describes the difficulty in predicting which individuals will be resilient to potential trauma. I think it's similar to, like, some people just are naturally immune to COVID. They've never had COVID and they've been in the presence of COVID. There is a sailor's mantra that says, adjust the sails, trust the sea. Adjust the sails, trust the sea. I think that's an interesting one because I think it relates to choices. That we can always make another choice. We can always choose to be the thermostat instead of the thermometer. We can always change our course. And we can always go with the easiest, the path of least resistance, right? As sailors do, because why are you going to fight the ocean? It seems silly. The affirmation of Crown Chakra Day was, I rest in divine love. Every storm carries me higher.
Every storm, including that voice.
Every storm carries me higher.
Also found what I was looking for. They're called neutrino. They're neutrinos. Have you heard of this before? The neutrino is perhaps the best named particle in the standard model of particle physics. It is tiny, neutral, and weighs so little that no one has been able to measure its mass. Neutrinos are the most abundant particles that have mass in the universe. Every time atomic nuclei come together, like in the sun, or break apart, like in a fission reactor or particle accelerator, they produce neutrinos. Even a banana emits neutrinos. They come from the natural radioactivity of the potassium in the fruit. Once again, even a banana emits neutrinos. They come from the natural radioactivity of the potassium in the fruit. And this is happening around us all the time. Our senses are not programmed as human beings to be able to see neutrinos, but we're being hit by them all the time, and there's not a lot of research on how we are perhaps being affected by the radioactivity of a banana. Isn't that something else? Yeah. When he said it, I was like, "Oh, this got to be some flat Earth shit." And then I went and Googled it, and like there's just a bunch of neutrino science.
Whenever I hear that stuff, like that it's so small that it can't be measured or whatever, I'm like, then how do we know? Like, how do you know?
Yeah, you're one of those people like, why are we even talking about it if I can't put it on a scale, right? It's
yeah, like if it's like, how do you know it exists if it doesn't exist?
Yeah, like so here we go now. How here it is. This is how it happens, folks. How are neutrinos?
Those of you that listen to the next episode, this is why we're up and don't go to sleep because we're looking up shit like this.
This is why. So direct measurements of neutrino mass can happen through a beta decay spectra, the Catron experiment, tritium decay, and also neutrinoless double beta decay.
This all sounds like a step out of the sci-fi movie The Abyss, and also simultaneously like World War Z and I Am Legend. All three of those movies feel like they would have something like whatever this is that you're talking about.
This is why when I'm in the conspiracy theory rooms and the enlightened rooms on Clubhouse and beyond, it's like, like you just did, people will use movies like The Matrix to explain like scientific models. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Because one of them is actually, science, and the other is the creativity spurned by science.
I do
Let's,
quite love The Matrix. That's one of my favorites.
oh,
It's
it's
my top 10, you know?
phenomenal spiritual teaching there. I used to go to a spiritual church or like a liberated church where the pastor there, shout out to Reverend Greg Stamper, he did like a whole month series on the messages, like the divine messages in the Matrix movies. It's really good. All right, y'all.
There's
So
so
if you
many.
want to, I'm sorry?
There's so many in those movies.
So many. If you all want to stay spiritually connected this week and find meaning in your life, here is a possible action that you could take. What about creating a 5-minute personal ritual? It could be the pathway we call prayer. It could be a mantra. It could be you sitting silently in the awe of the sunrise. But do something this week for 5 minutes as a personal ritual to help you practice daily. You're surrendering to the sky. You're becoming grounded and recognizing your greatest strength of humble surrender. We are always grateful that you all stop by and hang with us. Even on the days when we're making up our assignments, there's a presence of support, and we are super grateful for that. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for staying in your power, staying in your joy, and staying loved and lovable. Thank you to Poppy Water 33, Terra Olo Studio in Minnesota, and I'm Dr. Flo. I'm always encouraging you to look on the bright side of life, man. You have two decisions. You have many decisions, but there's two in front of you. Have a crummy day or have a loved and lovable day. And every day I'm being called out of my preferences into just accepting life as it's happening, with a divine knowledge that life is not happening solely to me, even though there are things around us that are happening. They're trying to take our healthcare away and our ability to earn and our ability to be free. All of that's happening too, but we have a choice whether we want to go in that direction or go towards something that is happy, healthy, and free. I wanted to say wholeness, like more geared towards our wholeness as well. But that comes along with being committed to happy, healthy, and free. All right, we got our makeup done in a fraction of the time that it would have taken me to drag myself back to this desk to complete it. So y'all will see this out on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcast, YouTube, Facebook, and Substack, because some of us are talking about our dreams and there are some of us who are actualizing them. We're not better than anybody. We're just having the most fun.
And share wherever you're listening to this from. Share it with 5 people. Share it with 5 people.
The world would benefit from more positive messages. There's enough of my power show where people are getting stabbed as we speak. Have a great day, everybody. Not to mention Game of Thrones. Peace.